paused for a couple seconds, making sure both timers are synchronized, and then hopefully we will see synchronization there. So
Spike taking extra care to make sure that he does not go back to the front title screen. And we're off. All right.
okay, so
1-1. This isn't a lot more tension than we normally have in 1-1, folks. We have seen what can go wrong in this stage.
Exactly. Okay, so Spike stream a little bit pause there for the synchronization and epic synchronization there. Oh, Lumo missing that last row.
It's all right though. He got Donkey, which is probably a really smart choice for him right now.
Yeah, and he took the extra time after the voucher, the rock throwing voucher.
Yeah.
Provided
talking
he
about
died
his
twice
mental
there.
state. His mental state right now is get through the first level. So once he's there, we're going to see awesome play from Lumo the rest of the way out here.
And now getting off the second stage, because after he beat level 1, he actually died there as well. So
did he? I didn't even see that.
Yeah. After the reset, the first reset, so he died on 1 choose. So
great.
Okay, both players nailing a bonus warp. So
yep. So it is any % all stages. They are allowed to get as many bonuses as they want. It turns out that 2, possibly 3 of them, depending on the choice they go, will make the levels faster. But yeah, no, this is definitely one you want to take, so no question there.
And the second one would be elevator antics, but that's Ward 5, so we will get into that later. And the optional one is on Ward 3, so if they go for it, we'll mention it. Otherwise, we'll mention it anyways. So
yeah, definitely. We will for sure. So Spike having a really nice 1-3 here. Ooh, and then right as I say that, commentator's curse throws into the B. That's an extended roll that he's going for there, which will explain a little bit more going into the 5th stage here. But if you miss the extended roll right there, you do end up in that B. That's not a huge time savings, but it really goes to show a lot of what this game is there are so many places where you can save a tiny bit of time, like less than a second, but if you mess up the trick, it'll be death. So he does get it that time. You saw he rolled over the top of the B. There we go.
As one of the memes in the community, any dunk trick saves 0.4, loses 1 billion.
Always loses 1 billion. You've seen this live, folks. So water stage, the biggest thing here is my good friend, the fish, Eduardo, and he is faster than not having him, but he's also very prone to being hit, which we do not care for.
And prone to get stuck on the walls as well. And if you miss time, his lunges, basically getting hit on the first frame after the invincibility frame that he has. So Eduardo, our buddy, like there, got sniped by the Croctopus by Lumo.
And Spike too, but so it's still, I mean, by no means is this a huge gap. This is pretty typical. So going into 1-5 here, you're going to see Lumo try for one of those extended rolls to get across some gaps really quickly. Basically, the way that extended rolls work is the game adds a little bit of speed whenever you roll through an enemy. If you're not holding Y, like you initiate the roll, let go, and then press again shortly after, you get that boost of speed afterwards. So Lumo misses the extendo. Let's see what happens here. But and then misses that one. Has Diddy. This is going to be interesting. He's got to not kill that Kremling. All right, let's see what he does. He's going to go for it.
Finish casually.
He's going to go for the barrel strats. Let's see if he has any idea what he's doing. Spike gets the extendo I was mentioning on the side of the screen. I'll explain that a little better shortly because we've got crazy casual barrel action over here from Lumo.
And Lumo actually
so the lead change, Lumo gets through with Donkey and the barrels. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I don't blame Lumo considering how bad his previous run was, but still, I would say would be actually faster to die and try the extendo again. But provided what happened, I don't blame him at all. I mean,
yeah, I don't blame him either. So yeah, not great World 1 times, but so a very entertaining world run from a race perspective. Not a lot of stuff you'd expect to see there. So anyway, Spike probably going to go for another extended roll here.
He missed it.
Doesn't get it, jumps out of. Well, I think he did get it, but jumped out of it.
No,
So again,
actually, he didn't get it on the position.
Did he just miss it?
Yeah, the position of Diddy when the platform was raising. Actually, if he kept rolling, he would fall into oblivion.
Yeah. So that's a really tricky extended roll. I mean, you can save a second or lose a billion, as Kalar's already shared for us. Spike going here into the first intended warp in the game. Just jump over that barrel, land in another one, and you skip the minecart level that nobody could beat when they were 7.
Yeah, and actually some top players actually managed to skip the donkey barrel, but so tricky actually for new runners and even experienced runners to go through that barrel and manage to hit the warp, that sometimes you go into the minecart. So both players grabbing the barrel, making sure they are safe.
That's a really good point, actually. Anytime you might see these guys rolling through a barrel, they have to tap Y and let go of Y and then repress it again after they pass the barrel so they don't pick it up. So there's a lot of really technical subtlety to movement in this game. Spike makes it across that gap really nicely. Bouncy Bonanza here is probably the first really hard stage in the game. Fortunately, there's a DK barrel there that he can pick up right afterwards. Gives Lumo a little bit of time back
to save, provided he doesn't get hit as well as Spike.
Yeah,
but
no guarantee. But it looks like they're both through the stage, and now we got just a couple more developer-intended warps. Stop and go station, another pretty difficult stage that just gets skipped because you can walk to the left and be done with it.
And fortunately, not sure if a developer oversight on this rocks, if you row, which Spike apparently forgot how to row, you don't get hit by them. But as you saw there, as he was not rolling, he got hit. But Lumo, since he rode through the rocks, he didn't get hit, and now he's setting up the super jump.
So Spike actually went back into the level to take the warp and grab Diddy because you do need to have 2 Kongs to set up this super jump. We'll explain it in a little more technical detail later, but the general way it works is you are able to use Donkey to get up to a warp off the top of the screen that normally the game wants you to roll a tire over a gap for, and rolling the tire over the gap is completely impossible, and it's also faster to do it this way.
It's not impossible, it just
it's impossible.
Loses a billion.
No, it loses everything because it's impossible and you'll fall in the hole and die. But that's the technical term again. So Neki, easy boss. All bosses in this game are pretty easy, but then you always end up dying on them, and it makes you really sad because you shouldn't have died because they're easy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we do need to have Donkey there because the next level, actually, there is a developer intended warp, but it's Donkey only warp. So
yeah, it's really strange. Not only is it Donkey only, but it's the only warp on a timer in the entire series. If you don't get to this barrel quickly enough, it's not going to be there, which is really, really strange. Like that they had this idea, but then they didn't use it anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, actually, fortunately that they only used one in one level. Like
that's probably
on
true.
Top 3 town, that's I would say the hardest warp to reach.
It is, yeah. You have to make sure you do a full jump and you get the right bounce off the Neki to get up there in treetop. It's really easy to mess up when you're just learning. Spike with a tire roll there, a little bit risky play, but he's feeling confident. So we'll talk a lot more about that at the end of World 4. So Luma's coming up here on the super jump. So watch Diddy. He's going to go up off the top of the screen. That's important. He's going to grab Diddy back, and then when Donkey gets hit, Diddy is going to be ready to jump and bounce off that Croc, not jump. So the way that happens is when Diddy flies off the top of the screen, the game stores a flag that says you're basically going up really high. As long as you don't jump again, the game will still think Diddy is flying up really high. So by getting hit with Donkey, you're holding down B while you're getting hit, and then you bounce off of an enemy. You're able to keep that upward momentum from when he left and fly really, really high. So actually at this point, both of them are falling through the level, and Lumo's going to land right about now, and Spike is also falling. So the vast majority of this level is actually falling. That's how quickly you go up.
Yeah.
with this particular trick.
And actually, there are levels that you can use super jump, though they are not faster than the intended way. However, you can do sacrificeless method that basically if you switch Kongs and the first action of the Kong that stored the super jump is falling over an enemy, it will trigger the same effect.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that. So that's cool. But as he mentioned, that trick is slower elsewhere. So you're seeing both of these players choosing to opt not to get espresso. Getting espresso from a bonus in this stage is maybe 2 to 3 seconds slower than doing it the optimal way, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Spike doing the stage quite a bit better, actually. He's using a lot of those extended rolls to get over those gaps really quickly. And for those of you who were, that was, I almost cursed him again. But for those of you who watched his race against Void I think last week, this was the stage that led to a game over. So he's clearly put in a ton of work and has really is really just showing that skill right now. So very, very close race as they head over to the map warp.
Yeah, map warp time. Okay, as we were trying to explain earlier, essentially on World 1, it's the only world that actually in between levels has corners. So if you manage to hit one of the face buttons, A, B, X, and Y, on the same frame, one of the Kongs or the Funky Copter reaches the corner, basically it will warp you towards the end of the level. The one that we selected is actually sent you towards the end of Ogang, and Lumo had a little bit of trouble there because he
mashing a little bit too
reptile. But fortunately, since he had only Diddy, he was able to pull the backup that's with only Diddy. Otherwise, sometimes if you have both Kongs, that's impossible because it needs to be both Kongs on the same frame, on the same spot, and they never are on the same spot. So fortunately for Lumo, only Diddy pays off.
Yep. So this is a surprisingly tricky water stage. Like, it's really easy to get hit with Eduardo while you move through. Well, I mean, Lumo's showing us right here. Like, this section with all these fish and then the section with all the sharks right afterwards is really kind of treacherous. You have to know exactly what you're doing to move through there safely. And getting hit, a lot of times you get hit and lose a Kong immediately thereafter. And usually you won't have Donkey at this point. So it's death. But
exactly.
Fortunately, he was able to salvage it and get the fish back.
Yeah, this is a level that movement matters as much as when to use the lunge animation with Eduardo, because if you miss time his attack movement, basically you will get hit for sure.
Yep, absolutely. His hitbox is terrible. That's why I completely hate the fish. He's just bad.
The fish only gets love on the third game. Developers wanted us to hate him until the last game.
I still hate him because the levels he's in are awful.
Poor Eduardo. So Spike with the lead after World 3, entering World 4.
We actually get to see World 4 between these two guys. Pretty good day. Didn't happen in the first race. Finally, some snow.
Actually, Spike reached World 4, but
he didn't go in.
Yeah, due to audio issues. So.
Yep. So we are happily watching him make progress. Yeah. And Lumo is a little bit closer than he was in the last attempt. So Spike here using this barrel to do a slope jump. Basically, if you're holding a barrel while you're on a slope, you're able to get a boost like that. And so by doing it at those places, you're able to bounce across all those neckies. And misses it, goes for the extendo, doesn't try to make it into the barrel.
Happens. Fortunately, it has the midpoint barrel there, really, so it's not that much of a time loss.
It's really not. That's a pretty common death and also a really relatively safe one.
And now he getting that well-hidden barrel that will shoot him directly to the end of the level.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I was upset about the first time I found out it existed, because you spend so much time working on that freaking barrel blast section of this level, but then you don't even have to do it at all in the speed run. So I'm glad we don't. It would be pretty slow.
Wow. Okay,
Spike, I'm
Spike.
gonna switch to Donkey for the warp. Probably a good choice. There is a way to use
Yeah,
Diddy to get there but you have to do kind of a glitch where you climb across the top of the screen. But still pretty
yeah,
quick to use Donkey.
yeah. I mean, it's not that much of a time loss
No, not
because
at all.
I believe it would be less than a second in between both Kong switch. So
So Lumo choosing not to go for the full extendo there, probably a wise choice. As you saw on
yeah,
Spike's side, it
yeah.
does result in death if you mess it up.
Also, actually, that last row, it loses time, but you can actually do it with Donkey. Is actually, I think it's safer doing that row with Donkey rather than with Diddy. But
Interesting.
I might be a person of option there.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody switches to Donkey intentionally, but I mean, if when you're just learning, like, there's no shame in going for strats that help you get through. It's faster to get through than it would be to die, so you're still
Exactly.
going for speed. So Lumo trying to do the hover across the
And
top, and he
enter the
enters the
bonus.
bonus. Spike, however, moving very nicely through 1-3 with Espresso.
4-3 with Express.
4-3, yes, 4-3. Sorry.
The one level that even if you have Diddy, if you lose the bird, you dead.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately.
the getting hit with the bird there is catastrophic. So we'll see how Lumo handles the stage. Spike, meanwhile, moving into Croctopus. Beautiful level, beautiful music.
Yeah, and
but not a lot to really talk about.
Yeah, basically, you is the midpoint of the speedrun because the first half we would say it's kinda easy, but the real gauntlet starts after this level actually. So this is the moment that if you had a really bad first 3 words, is the moment to shake off and think about getting the frames. Or if you really have a good first half, it's just okay, let's skip the pace.
Definitely. It's very much an intermission, like you said, the midpoint, and it's follows up a series of really hard levels and all the stuff that you normally reset over. Oh, Lumo just misses the tire. That's really bad. And as you saw, we don't grab the midpoint here because it's honestly grabbing the midpoint and not having the bird for the rest of the stage would probably be slower than just starting at the beginning again. But you got to be careful to bounce on that tire. But with this, so anyway, as you can see there, the Croctopus is right after a pretty difficult stage, and loses the bird and dead. So, making my point for me, I should stop doing that to them.
And actually, interesting point of Croctopus, sorry to interrupt, is actually the only water level that we do not grab the fish at all. Mainly for 2 reasons. One is on the very end of the level. And second of all, even if you grab the fish, it actually lags the last part a lot, like a lot of lag.
Yeah, it's definitely not faster. But there is one comment in chat that Croctopus might as well be an auto scroller for how much time you can save on it, and I'm gonna actually disagree with that a little bit. There is a lot of time you can save in Croctopus. We didn't talk too much about corners and walls, but every single one of these corners is a possibility to lose time. So every time you see one of these guys bonk into a corner, that's a time loss. So really, really top tier players are going to save or do this stage a lot more quickly than they will others. Now, it's pretty boring. There's not a lot of risk of death. But it's a super easy place to lose time. Very, very different than an auto scroller would be. In fact, I would say Croctopus might be one of the places you can most clearly see the difference between, say, a top tier player and someone who's just kind of good but not great.
Shoutouts for those madmen that do timestamp Croctopus chase race.
Oh my goodness. Exactly.
Okay, so Spike entering Torchlight. The developers wanted us to grab Squawks, which is a baby and only holds for us a flashlight, but unfortunately it creates a huge amount of lag. So
Lumo,
we are not friends
saving
with lag.
that. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you saw Lumo got hit and with the bird and landed on the rope. And he is, don't hit the thing. Okay, he's through. All right. That was, sorry. Yeah, you're making great points about the lag, but Lumo pulling it out.
Yeah, no, totally fine on that.
Yeah. So anyway, Spike's moving on to Rope Bridge Rumble, Tire Roll City, which is a fantastic level. A lot of fun.
No super jump rope.
You really, really quickly.
No super jump rope here.
Nope. Super jump roll here saves about 7 seconds. Saves
10
12, loses
seconds.
6. I think is what they say.
10 seconds. According to what I was spoken with Killer Hud, actually one of the absolute madmen that got in 2 runs actually on
Oh,
this
really?
very tournament. Actually, he was comparing his ILs before and after Super Jump Row, and for him it saved about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's right around that. I think it's 10 to 12 depending on how you move through the level. Tire rolls were the thing you saw Spike doing, where he literally just rolled off the edge of the tire, but that's a lot harder than it looks. You have to be positioned well, and you have to time your roll at the right point. It's really easy to do once you know it, but learning it is a little bit challenging. So Spike choosing to sacrifice Donkey there to skip the 4th cycle, so Naughty didn't do the 4 bounces. By getting hit right after the 3rd, you're able to save a bunch of time there. So that tells us he will not be going for the super jump roll in Oil Drum Alley, which is probably the right choice for someone with well, now that he's got a 36, you might want to start thinking about it. But
I mean,
it's a fun
basically
stage.
going for all frames. Basically, you're aiming for 33 or lower, so sub 34 actually.
Right.
But for having a 35, the super jump rows are not mandatory, if I recall correctly. So
no, definitely not. Yeah, you can get a 33 without him with no problem. Spike, however, moving very well through this level. The big thing to know is that the fire is pretty fake. It only can hurt you right in the middle, so landing on the edges or jumping through the fire is not a problem at all.
One comment: the fire is fake if you did it, but if you donkey, the fire is real.
Yeah. Also, like I said, it is not fake in the middle, which is exactly where Spike just landed. So, yeah, but he's got a pretty good lead over Lumo.
Don't play with fire, kids. Essentially, don't play with fire.
It's really dangerous.
Exactly. As I saw there, we had a burnt Diddy.
Really, pretty much everything that the Kongs are doing is a don't try this at home, kids. Don't roll around in the jungle. Don't jump on oil barrels. Don't swim with sharks and swordfish.
Don't row into huge gaps that will send you towards oblivion. So
yeah, I really am on my commentator curse A game tonight. This is pretty good.
And say goodbye to developer Nintendo Warps, because Spike just nailed the last one in whole game. So, and now say goodbye to bonus warp, because Elevator Antics is the last one you will see.
Yep.
So now they will have to finish the level fully. So
yep. So this level is quite difficult. This roll here too. Oh, he's not choosing to do the roll. Interesting. He's got the 36 without doing that roll. Probably why he got there and didn't die a billion times and frustrate himself, because that roll that he chose to forego is quite difficult. But here's the bonus that Kalarsis mentioned.
Yeah. Oh, that row. Actually, I was learning that the other day, trying to get rid of my meme super jump, and it's really interesting that if you jump on that row, you can basically glitch towards the rope and die, or basically don't have enough speed and die anyways. So
yep, it's very finicky. You want to roll kind of right off the middle of the platform, and since you're landing from the air, you don't have a lot of space to build up any momentum. Meanwhile, Spike getting the elevator skip there, where he kind of scrolled the screen to facing the camera to the left to get the elevator timing properly done. And now we're on to Poison Pond, the hardest water stage in the game, and probably one of the most critical to keep the fish if you want to move quickly through it. But Spike moving confidently through the beginning. This next section might be the most likely one to lose the fish, but we'll see how he does. So far, so good.
Yeah, the hardest due to the fact that there's so many enemies going around, and those mincers that actually moves really fast, that basically everything can hit you, but Spike managing that wonderfully.
He's playing very well, and he's going to go for a clip here and gets the clip. Really nice Poison Pond from Spike Vegeta. That you can tell that he's put in some work there, because that was really impressive. Gets the final charge, and he's got Engard all the way through the stage. Well played, Spike.
This is Void's Poison Pond. Void's Toxic Tower material. So okay, now minecart madness or
Some fun
carnage.
happening here.
Madness. So, okay, basically, not sure if he. Okay, he got the arrow glitch. So, will he get? He. Okay, I'm done.
Yo,
I'm done.
we've got
I'm
a
done.
jump roll, ladies and gentlemen. The first jump roll of the game. So,
okay, let's
wow,
go
you're
back.
in the middle of explaining the roll through the air, and then this
Yes.
happens.
Okay. Essentially, what happens that if you run with Donkey, or actually you could do with Diddy, I'm not sure, but we use Donkey because we prefer having Diddy. If you run directly to the minecart and you get hit, basically Donkey will go on the hit animation as if he was getting hit on the floor. So basically that allowed Diddy just forgot the loss of gravity and roll in the air infinitely until a new platform appears.
And so the way that the jump roll works is if you're ever at a point where you're on the ground and able to roll, and you're able to bounce on an enemy at the same moment. So the way that would ever work is if you're like on a slope, or in this case, you're able to roll because of the rolling through the air glitch, and you can land on an enemy because you're falling through the air. There's one frame where you're able to roll and bounce at the same time. If you press Y on that particular frame, the jump roll happens. So we'll see if Spike goes for some others. I would expect he'll have a few more setups that we'll get to watch and maybe explain a little better how you do that when you're on the ground. But really, really cool that he pulled that off.
And Lumo
That's a
going
risky
with-
one. That's a really risky one.
That's
Because as
the
we
risky
mentioned,
one.
it's one frame. So if you press it one frame late, that means you've hit the enemy and you're bouncing, which means your rolling through the air glitch is gone and you're dead. So you always want to try to err on the side of early for that particular frame. Meanwhile, Spike is moving through Blackout like a crazy person.
Like an absolute madman.
Like an absolute madman. Like Spike Vegeta, basically. Brilliant Blackout from Spike. Really, really impressive.
And Lumo taking notes on my scrub run and going for super jump on ODA and elevator antics.
Yep.
And
he's taking it
what
safely.
I was about to say on the jump row, actually you're invincible on that jump row state with all enemies except the beast. That's why Spike had to jump out of it in order to reach the last minecart section.
Correct. Yep. Correct. So that can't keep going at that point. So the question, why is Spike not grabbing Donkey? And so Donkey actually loses frames on the world map. I believe it's 10 frames per stage that you have Donkey transitioning with you. So if you can avoid having him, you do. I mean, sometimes you'll grab him as a safety, but a lot of times having him doesn't really make it that much safer because he'll move so much more slowly through the rest of the level anyway that you might as well just die and start over.
Exactly. So, okay, Dumb Drum, really easy and boring boss. Basically, shoots you enemies, you jump out of it. Auto scroller, basically, but we can fast that up by hitting second enemy on the air. So, not huge of a deal.
And so Spike now is in a true auto-scroller with tanked up trouble, and there are 2 jump rolls in this level. I would not expect him to go for the first one. We'll call it Creme Tut, so Tut for tanked up trouble. But Bird Tut I will expect to see him go for, and we'll let you know when that's coming up. That's him basically using one of the neckies to set up a jump roll, and we'll see.
Actually, the Creme Tut is hard because you need to first of all wiggle as soon as you get the jump roll, and then there is a second wiggle that you need to do in order to skip the bees.
Yep. So coming up on Bird Tut, Lumo losing in guard there is bad. So doing the setup, and he did not get it. So he pressed Y a little bit too early. You know it's early because he got the roll instead of the bounce. But what he was trying to do was position his movement such that he ran on top of the necky while it was underneath the platform thing, and if you land on an enemy while it's underneath you, obviously you bounce, but since you're still on the platform, you can roll. And so all that movement was to position the necky so that he'd get there when it was below and could hopefully hit that frame by pressing Y. Sadly does not, so loses a minute here, but
finishing the level as intended way.
Not that great. Lumo, meanwhile, going to go for that rolling through the air glitch. Donkey gets hit, as Kalaris described, and we'll see if he's able to go get that jump roll. Yep, chooses to forgo it, and he went through the rope.
So he glitched out.
You saw he kind of teleported back there, but he salvaged it and didn't get confused.
That's actually what happens on Elevator Antics. If you roll and even think of jumping, that's what happens, essentially.
Exactly.
You glitch out uh, backwards and then basically sending you to oblivion. Fortunately, here, since we are on the glitch state, essentially you lose a little bit of time, but you're not dead. So
Yep, exactly.
fine.
Lumo almost missing it because he went over the platform and he was able to save it. Didn't think he'd be able to make it to that minecart, so he wisely chose to head backward. Spike now kind of going through the gauntlet of this game. All of World 6, there's a lot of really tricky platforming the rest of the way through. So he's going to be grabbing Ramby here.
Super jump setup. The super jump.
Oh, he's doing a super jump for this. Interesting.
Yeah,
I've actually not ever seen this. Interesting choice.
He went for the sacrifice version. Actually, that's what I was playing earlier. Actually, you can use the Ramby crate to go for the sacrificeless version.
Got it. Yep, that makes sense.
But
so yeah, Spike choosing the. Is this something normally Spike does, or is he doing this as for the tournament?
I mean, for the way he went for it, I would say he's pretty pretty normal on this one.
Yeah, he looked pretty intentional there and going for that. That's interesting. I've actually never seen this particular thing. So we're kind of getting a lot more super jumps here than we would in a normal race. So that's really kind of neat to see all the different ways you can get through the level. So there he goes. He let go and landed sort of right at the time he needed to.
Or you can be a really scrub person and do 8 super jumps in a run. So, but that's not recommended. You lose a billion.
Yeah, I'm inspired now to go play more because I didn't even know that existed, and Spike's time is like a minute and a half better than mine, so I need to get to work. I've been playing too much Mario RPG nonsense over here.
Nice Rotato strats.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Pidge.
Shout outs to Pidge, all the shout outs. But yep, so Spike moving really well here through Misty Mine.
Lumo, unfortunately, I saw earlier he got a dad on our boy Black. He got a dad on the level. Almost not sure if it was on Blackout. Most likely he did because
it was on Blackout. Yeah, he just overjumped the tires slightly.
Yeah,
ooh, and there he was. So going for that rope, you got to be pretty confident in knowing the position of that particular rope, and that means your approach and the movement you take to get to it has to be consistent. So I'm wondering if he's gonna maybe take this a little more safely after these guys. And he goes more confidently. So he had consistent movement there. That's why the rope was where he expected it to be.
Okay. So and Spike wiggling a little bit on the end of Misty Mine, making sure not get wrecked by Snake. And now going through that glitch claptrap that you can roll through him. I'm not sure if it was a developer oversight or it was a freaking stuff that they put as a troll is thinking, oh, you can roll through them, and then you try to roll to the next
that
one.
That would be a great troll.
And you try to roll through the second one and get hit, you would be like, what's going on? But Spike going through it.
It is indeed a glitch because that is fixed in the 1.2 version of this game. So if you try to play it on VC, that won't work. That's a good note. These guys are playing on either the 1.0 or 1.1 software versions of the game. 1.2 fixes a lot of glitches, including map warps and the fanfare skip, which isn't something we really talked about, but it loses a lot of time to play on other versions.
Essentially, the other day we were discussing that on Discord, and just by fanfares, you lose a full minute.
Yeah, it's significant.
Seconds. So it's really like huge time loss that actually happened on Darko's race. I don't remember with who he was racing. It's really hard to take because the fanfare takes so long, and Spike not going for Peril's jump rope.
Choosing to forego it completely. Perils, there is another jump roll you can set up there because if you notice, there was a slope on the with the mine platformy thing. So he's just going to kind of try to lock in this win, move as confidently as he can through Perils. I don't know if he knows. Ooh, actually, really nice double extendo there to get under there. Nice. So some pretty advanced tech coming out from Spike. So you can really see that he's put in a lot of work in this game. He hasn't fully optimized everything, but that was actually some really high-level tech that he just did there. Going for golden.
And barrel.
Golden barrel.
Okay, this run is valid.
Purely for show. Thank you, Spike. The chat appreciates that.
Valid run.
Valid run.
Exact. Okay, so Lumo entering World 6, and I'm scared for him because he's has only one life.
Oh, does he really? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not good. Hopefully he's paying attention to that.
I thought that he was going to save on World 5 because of that, but since he didn't die, most likely he just didn't go for it.
So the golden barrel, a lot of questions about that, is basically a graphical glitch where the game can only have so many color palettes loaded at a given time. So by doing the setup where I don't know exactly which sprites screw it up, but by facing the camera to the left and timing when that barrel loads in such a way as to get that particular timing, a different sprite's color palette is on the screen and it gets transferred to the barrel. You see that sometimes in other games like DKC2. There's in 102% runs in Crockhead, it comes to mind. Squidder, the spider, will transfer his color palette to a banana coin and cause like this rainbow coin effect, which is pretty cool. But it's just kind of a neat little thing to show off.
And Spike entering K-Row, I believe it will be a high 36 for him or a low 37.
Yep, really nice run from Spike Vegeta for sure.
Unless
he's got to be happy with that
on the cannonballs. That I saw that happen.
Yeah, it can happen. It's not terribly likely at this level, but yeah, you never know.
Exactly. Squidder is AKA Shoes, as Zara the Mant would call him.
I taught my son, my 6-year-old son, to call him Shoes, and that's what he does now.
Shout out to Zara for all the awesome names he has given over the years.
Oh yeah, he absolutely has.
And Spike Vegeta apparently got hit on one of the cannonballs, and now going solo donkey, stop the timer, let's go, the end for him. So, okay. I know why this game is so bad. It has the claptrap in charge of coding. And on Lumo, as you saw there, that's the sacrifice list I was talking about.
I'm glad that he showed that off, because I hadn't seen that before either. Really,
actually,
yeah, interesting.
That lets you actually, if he is really willing to, go for the super jump roll on Misty. But it would be really madman if he goes for it.
I want to see it. I believe.
Okay, Spike got hit by the crown. Maybe he jumped too early.
Coming up on the last hit here, but doing the obligatory jumps. Shout outs to Garrison.
Yeah.
He taught us all that is a thing. Really nice final hit. Spike with a 36.59.
Wow.
Very nice run, Spike.
And actually, nice KBZ was actually saying, he said earlier, looks like a 37 flat or maybe 36, 58, 59.
He called it. Speaking of KBZ,
we will be seeing him next.
We will be seeing him very shortly. Ooh, Lumo, something. He must have let go a B a little bit early there to drop that, because he got the super jump effectively. So.
Because basically he needs to. I would let you know when he normally would supposed to release B if going for super jump strats. Actually, on this first oil drum, that's not oil, but let's make sure it's oil drum. After the first gap, that's when you need to release B on the super jump strats. And maybe he just released too early, therefore he landed just on an enemy. Which is really bad if you get hit on the last enemy when you have one Kong only. Shoutouts to my first race.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah. 2 claptraps in 2 different levels. Wow. So, still, Lumo. Oh, losing Diddy again. Wow. I'm scared by Lumo. Not sure.
He's not making this easy for us here.
Yeah, I mean,
getting Diddy back, so we're okay.
Okay.
So the big thing with all the Donkey Kong Country games, it's not so Donkey's really slow and you don't know what to do with him, but whenever you have a Kong you're not used to in any of the 3 games, you're almost always just kind of guessing because you never really practice with the Kong you're not used to. So it's almost like playing it semi-blind. You know where the levels are, but the movement through those is going to be completely different. And with Donkey, it's just significantly worse than in any of the other games because his movement is so much worse than Diddy's. Whereas in the other 2 games, like Diddy, Dixie, or Kitty and Dixie, their movement's pretty similar with a few tiny variations and speed changes, but Donkey is just a huge difference.
Okay, Lumo finishing Misty and entering Loopy Lights with 1 level that is actually 2 because still alive. He still can finish this.
Still alive. In fact, he's almost to another extra life. So honestly, the fact that he's getting through World 6 without game overing so far, I might see if my curse abilities for the night live up again, but so far so good from Lumo. That's maybe the most impressive thing about this.
Yeah, he got the DK barrel there, so Diddy's back. Nope, this is fine.
That was an official. Kitty is better than Donkey. Kitty is a billion times better than Donkey.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
Kitty.
no contest between the 2.
Kitty, since he's on the objectively the best Donkey game, he's of course objectively the best Kong available.
By every possible measure, Kitty is better than Donkey.
Objectively the best Kong. Oh, not the best place to lose Diddy. Not
he should
the
be okay.
best. Yeah, but still, if he managed to go through Mankey, okay, he got it. Okay, he got it. Okay.
Michael Goldfish, unsurprisingly, not objecting to my conclusion that Kitty is better.
Objectively the best. Come on.
Donkey does get a rather significant buff in Tropical Freeze.
Yeah. Haven't played it yet. That's
you should.
Thing that I should. I know I should because that's the thing that I should get soon.
It's very different. It's a very different kind of platformer, but it's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful game.
Oh, Winky
nice little extendo there to get the swag frog. Is he setting up a jump roll here? Ooh, try. Ooh, that's not quite how you want to set up the jump roll.
He forgot. Maybe he jumped a little bit too late on that extendo to set up this jump roll.
I want to see him get another frog, dude. I want to see one of the Animal Buddy bonus rooms.
for the fans.
For me, not the fans. I don't care what the fans think.
Okay, now.
Sorry, I love you guys. You guys are great.
Okay.
Yeah, just oh no, interesting. This is a different setup than I'm used to.
Yeah,
well, yeah, that would have worked. Though he pressed Y a little bit too early, but indeed that would have been a good setup for the jump roll.
I mean, it really look different, but still, if it works.
Yeah, I've seen there was an old way to set it up where you stayed on the platform and jumped around on the right there, but I've never seen that setup where you go off to the arrow platform. Higher level players will just set up the timing of their roll and jump from the left to do it. But good attempt all the same from Lumo, trying to sell something out of this.
So, okay, though he lost. Oh, he lost Diddy on the worst portion of the level possible.
So I don't know I mean, it is a dangerous place to lose Diddy, but I think Donkey makes these throws a little more easily. I know when I would play it growing up, I always switched to Donkey here because the throws are easier, but he's going to have to be super slow. I don't even know if he's going to be able to make this roll at the end.
No, he can't.
Yeah, he can't.
I tried
so
several times. Several times of failing. Just in case. No, he can't. Unfortunately, Donkey does not have the speed and the jump height in order to reach those gaps.
Yeah, it's good that Lumo knew that. That I could easily see that being something where, like I was saying earlier, you're used to doing a certain thing with one Kong, and you try it with the other, and it just simply doesn't work.
Yeah, now he's not getting hit by Neki, so this is fine. Unfortunately, he's not subbing me on this race, so...
that was your minimum criteria for good.
Like... It's really not hard to sub 43. I
Yeah,
just
go get it.
kinda-
Come on,
yeah,
Polaris. Go
I
get that
just
sub
don't
43.
play. I
Just do it.
suck playing games.
Hey,
when I get that
we all
list,
do, man. That's called speedrunning.
exactly.
Speedrunning just means you've died every way it's possible to die.
Exactly. Still, yes, TGC ID1. We are having a race later on. We are just finishing this one waiting for this one to finish, and then we will get the second one started over. So let me just pull out. Okay, the channel wasn't made yet for the new one, so Lumos, we could say he's a new runner for this game, but not a new runner in general, so not sure if I lost Antilles or my internet.
Oh,
is
sorry,
acting up.
I had I wasn't holding my
Oh
talk.
no,
I have
no,
push
no
to talk
problem.
on because I have many young children in my house, and at any moment they could attack me, and I would hate to unleash that on you all. But
I
so
prefer
Lumo
kids.
is a DKC3 runner who's done a lot of 103% in particular, and he also has the greatest water percent video that any of you could ever possibly hope to see. So
Yeah.
if anybody who can post a link in there, has a link to the water percent run, that would be a great intermission for
Lumo.
the two
I'm gonna
between
search
the
for
two
it.
races. Yes,
I'm gonna search
if we
for
can
it.
get this in there, the people need to see water RTA. It's dog jump is just might be the single greatest trick I've ever seen executed.
Is this the one? Okay, this one.
There
Okay,
it is.
everyone posted it. I'm
Perfect.
gonna watch it again because I'm gonna watch it again. Like,
Man, the myth, the legend, and Lumo is done.
GG.
Lumo is done. GG, Lumo. You made it through. That felt a lot better than the forfeit from before. It has to. We appreciated everything you had to share.
Actually, now that you mentioned, I didn't realize he actually jumped over his dog.
Dog jump, man. The way the dog looks at the camera is just too good.
Yeah.
It's just too good.
Poor little pup. I know it's not a little pup, but poor little pup. Like, human, what you doing? Okay.
Nathan with the play-by-play on water percent RTA.
So.
Anyways, so with that, we are moving over to another race here shortly. I believe those guys are going to start getting set up soon. I'm going to go ahead and step away for a moment. Actually, no. Let's see if we can get these guys in for a call. I didn't even think about that. See if they want to.
Yeah,
talk about it.
Let me just pull here. Interview both.
We should have pulled in Spike when he finished. We didn't even.
We are
thinking?
just a little dumb. So. Okay, join, waiting, and we will pull you up. Okay, so we are waiting. Spike said he will join in. I'm not sure about Lumo, but I'm making sure to check Discord to make sure as soon as Spike. Okay, so Spike's on waiting. What's up, Spike? GG. And please press the push to talk because otherwise
more sound problems from Spike Vegeta.
Don't care, gosh. How are you boys doing tonight?
Doing well, sir. How are you doing with that 3659?
God, that's I was sitting there like, of course, I take the death like halfway through 1-3. I'm like, oh baby. I can already tell what this is going to be. And that ends up being my second best run ever.
That's awesome.
Which, the fact that, like, that's like kind of sad. Like, the fact that I had to grind to get a 36 and then that was a 36
Yeah,
is-
that's funny.
I mean, it's that's speed running is you keep grinding and grinding and grinding, and then the run that you would have loved like a week ago is all of a sudden like total crap. But
Yeah, that's how it goes for sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
you've put in a lot of work. I guess the last I saw you was obviously your race against Void last week.
Woo!
But then I've seen your tweets since then, and you've clearly been putting in a lot of work. Like when you got to 3-4, you were going for it, man. You were not going to let that stage beat you again.
No, I didn't care, and I was, I'm a dirty screen watcher. I was watching the race. I was watching the whole thing. And I knew I was already behind him, obviously after the death in 1-3. And I just said, I don't care. Like, I get to a point with strats in a speed game where, like, I'll do a couple of little safeties usually when I'm in a tournament, like getting the save point in Blackout Basement, like a few little things here and there. But I am confident in Temple Tempest. Like, I can execute that.
Yeah.
So I refuse to just say, no, I'm gonna start skipping out on strats there. I don't know. So it was nice to get that for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you're definitely inspiring me to get back to the drawing board here, because we were pretty close in time for a really long time, and you've just put me to shame here with everything you're doing. So I need to step my game up a little bit.
I haven't looked enough at the brackets. I know you were in the higher end of your pool. Could we possibly meet? Are you gonna be, I guess, out of pools?
It depends on how my race Sunday goes against Parisian player. I mean, I think that race should, if you were to put it on the board, it'd be similar to the race you just had with Lumo.
Right.
So I should be able to win, but it's Donkey 1. Anything can happen. So we'll see. That would be a fun matchup. I would love to get that one.
Yeah, for sure. And again, guys, shout outs to Lumo. Our PBs were actually incredibly close going into this.
Yeah,
I had a huge PB last night. That kind of made a little bit of a separation, but he's also was gone for like a week, so he didn't have nearly.
Yeah, we did mention that. We mentioned you guys were pretty close, and that Lumo was not as well practiced. But speaking of Lumo, sir, would you walk us through your mind every single frame of the way through these two races?
I'll say that for my first race, I was a little bit nervous, if you guys couldn't tell. So my hands were shaking before I even pressed .ready. So
Wow.
You know what's
all over the place.
I've told people about this because I'm a stage actor, and I've done like probably a couple dozen of these tournament races. I still get nervous every time. Just so many little nerves. So I would never like worry about that sort of thing. Like, I think it's natural for us to have a bit of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I speak to people, actually, like even experienced players, like go all nervous until the first mistake they do, and they're like, okay, mistake are done.
I'm not gonna PB, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Pressure's off.
I
We
mean,
can
I
carry
still
on.
get nervous even just like when I'm running solo by myself. Like even practice, if I'm just like doing well, I'll still get nervous then. So being on speed gaming, it opened a whole new world of ways for me to die. It was fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you had quite a few impressive deaths and moments, but really, I'd say through World 3, this was a really interesting race. Like we had 3 or 4 lead changes in the first 3 worlds, and you guys were just really going back and forth. I was really glad that we did the re-race. So
Yes.
thank you guys for agreeing to do that. That made it really fun.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I've never had like more than third try map warp before, so I don't know what was going on there.
Dude, I've been
Speaking of map warps, Spike.
What did you
Dude,
do?
I was right there with you in the like before we restarted. I got it like 12th try.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I did. And I also entered Reptile Rumble and started selected out of that, so things were going pretty well.
Yeah.
You definitely both gave us a lot to talk about, and alternate strats. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't when you're one of the commentators for this tournament, you don't want like Eason and Peachy. You're just like, oh, okay, well they hit everything, cool. No, you want racers like us who are gonna keep it exciting. You're always gonna be on your toes.
It's
Exactly.
like watching NC2A versus NFL. You never know what's gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Or having someone to nail one of the jump ros and then like starting goofing off. That's the best part of it.
Mhm, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I usually super jump over both Loopy Lights and Misty, and I missed both of those, so I was completely
Yeah.
winging those levels. I have not learned them, so that was all just
Did you
ad
did
hoc.
you know that you only had one life going into World 6?
Yes.
Okay, we weren't sure about that.
That
'cause-
pressure.
I was
Ooh.
fully
Scary.
expecting to game over in Blackout Basements. When that didn't happen, I was pretty okay with the rest of the run.
Yeah, you did really well. I honestly, just getting through it, especially with as many times as you had Donkey, was pretty impressive. So it looks like we've got KBC and Slidick ready to go for the next race. So do you guys have any final thoughts or thoughts on the tournament, thoughts on the race, anything you'd like to say to the world of speed gaming?
I hope that KBZ is actually using Winky on this level during the run. That's my
Exactly.
current thought.
We might want to
Same.
require that, I
I'm
think.
saying. So.
Just to all the people watching, don't be afraid to try. I mean, I've only been playing this game for I think a month, and I was out of the country for a week of that. So, I mean, you can do anything if you just like practice it long enough. And I was working on a whole bunch of like new stuff before this, and I just decided not to incorporate it because I just didn't have enough time. But I mean, given time, like you can get down to really, really good times really easily. I think you just gotta
You can
grind
sub
at it.
Neo,
Good word.
Yeah, really
So-
well said. I mean, anybody can join these tournaments. Not everyone here has been playing this game for years. And you got the SMW tournament, the Pokemon tournament, the Link to the Past tournament. There's constantly tournaments going on. Try to, if you're just a fan of speedrunning and you have access to being able to stream it, just find one of these games and join the tournament. They are so much fun.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Agreed completely.
Absolutely.
Good encouragement, guys. And if nothing else, there's always water RTA.
Water.
Yes.
Pretty tough category.
I'm gonna bop you, please. I'm gonna bop
hope
you
you
soon.
I hope you do. We
That's
need more
good.
runners in that category. It's a
See,
pretty dead
s-
category. There's only one run.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to fall off stairs or jump over dogs, so
Yeah, I
Should be
kind of wish
easy.
I used map warp there, but no.
Can only do so
So we are having both KBZ and Slidick ready
All right.
on
All
IRC.
right, awesome.
So thank you both, Spike and Lumo, for awesomeness.
Thanks for the commentating and good luck to the next runners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good luck to them as well.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it, guys. Take care.
GG Spike, thanks for the race.
Thank you, Lumo. GG, dude.
Gee.
All right, and with
Alright.
that, KBZ and Slidick about to take off. So I don't know anything about Slidick. I couldn't even find a
Ni-
time for him.
Neither.
So
I know he
don't
had
either.
a couple runs. I don't have his runs actually, unfortunately.
But what I would expect here is, honestly, I would expect this to be a pretty one-sided race. KBZ is one of the best runners of this game in the whole world.
yeah, and actually,
he's one of the favorites to be in the finals of the tournament.
Yeah.
So
actually one of the
hard
best
to
runners
think Slidick's
overall.
gonna put up too much of a fight.
Uh,
So what
Sorry,
hopefully we will get to see is, to the point we said earlier, of we'll probably see very different runs between these two guys, and hopefully that gives us a chance to
Yeah.
I don't know, explain differences. Even right there at the very
yeah.
beginning, KBZ choosing to walk with the DK barrel, it's a little bit faster to do that, but you
Well,
have
it's
to set up
riskier.
you have to spawn the enemies at the right time, because if you don't do that, you'll run into the naughty on the bottom with Donkey. So
Yeah.
it's faster but riskier, and you see the skill that KBZ has in choosing to go for that.
Well, as I was sorry I was interrupting you. Actually, KBZ, one of the best players overall in all trilogy. Actually,
That's true. Yeah, he's great at all three games. Like, he's exceptional. Also a very good Mario RPG runner. I mean, I don't know that there's
Yeah.
anything that KBZ puts his mind to that he's not good at. He's the one who knocked me out of the Donkey Kong Country.
well,
What's he doing?
actually, to make it even, he's going for normal
Interesting.
route.
Interesting. I was wondering if he might do that. Maybe we will see Winky and Rope
Winky.
Bridge Rumble after all.
Wow, KBZ put in the show. What a guy.
Yeah.
He might even show off the Road Bridge Rumble Super Jump Row. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll be curious. He was doing some practice earlier. Maybe he will just go warpless or something like that. We'll see what he does. And I don't take that as him trying to show up Slidick or anything like that. If KBZ's doing that, he's doing it to try to make it a little more interesting of a race,
Yeah.
not to be a jerk. He's a really good guy.
One of the most awesome guys I've known in the community, actually. having the opportunity to talk him in Spanish because he doesn't even talk.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. That's right. You actually someone you can communicate more
So-
natively with. Sorry about
but
English.
still- Yeah, no,
It's a weird
well,
language.
actually, we heard him on the first race. Actually, so we heard his voice for the first time ever when he ran against Blunt Bunny. So
Was it as
knows?
magnificent as we all hoped?
yes, was
Good.
one friend would say it was glorious. But
Glorious.
that's
Like Eduardo. Glorious.
Yeah.
So, I guess at this point we did just go through a whole race, so I'm sure many of you are the same, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. But if anyone has any questions about anything in chat, please just ask and we'll kind of address things that way. For the most part, the big idea with water levels is just to get on guard, don't lose him, and take corners as quickly as possible.
yeah. But okay, who donated for Donkey on Eduardo? I
Donkey
did,
on
but
Eduardo. I don't
but
think
I
he's
was not the
actually
only
slower,
one.
but he feels slower on a guard.
yeah, I mean it's because the normal overall movement of Donkey it feels slower, but still it's still funny. I'm sorry, it's like being older and having some. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm not even go on this channel on all of that movement with Donkey and Eduardo. So. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, so I do not want to explain that.
Yes. That's
So, okay, KBZ finishing Barrow Canyon. These levels with the freaking hard pronunciation to get for a non-native speaker.
Again, I'm sorry about English.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Okay.
KBZ getting a 347 in with a warpless 1-2. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, not sure what happened to
Ooh.
his timer. Most likely it's just getting by splits.
I think so.
Sorry,
Yeah, he stopped
sections?
it immediately when his he finished World 1. So hopefully we don't lose sync here. I guess it probably won't.
No,
won't
no,
matter
you
this point.
should
Slidick
not,
gets
but-
the extendo on the backup though, so well done
Nice.
by Slidick to still pull that off
Nice.
even after the death.
Nicely done. Yeah, most likely it's segmented split, so maybe he just configured that way. I'm
Yeah,
not
could
sure
be.
actually.
Or the capture could be positioned on the wrong timer or something like that. But I mean, it doesn't really matter for our purposes. We can see who's ahead here. So Slidick with the 4, so about a minute behind KBZ coming out of World 1. And as we said earlier, I would be surprised if this gets much closer than that. So, but 1-3 is the hardest stage in, or 2-3 is the hardest stage in World 2. Getting through these gaps here is something we didn't get to see in the last race, and KBZ rolling through them like a pro. There they go. They're fixing the timer, getting the correct capture going for us. Choosing to go a little more safely there by opting to go on the tire instead of clearing that gap entirely. Slidick taking the warp. So yeah, KBZ not going warpless through anything else. So I wonder if he just somehow missed the roll, or I don't know why he decided to not take the barrel in the second stage. But anyway, moving the same way, about to do the super jump.
Sorry about that. Apparently I got a little bit of connection issues.
No problem.
So,
I thought it was a little quieter in here than I was used to.
yeah, no, I was trying to connect to Discord on my phone, but apparently my phone hates me now, and I cannot refresh my feed. So I'm gonna be right back.
It's not just video games that hate us, everyone. It's all of the technology.
Exactly.
Skynet confirmed. So Slidick choosing to take a little more safe route through the Bs here, which is what I would do as well.
So okay. Based Google Chrome, able to reload the stream. So,
ooh, unfortunate hit there, but see how he handles it. waits to get Diddy. All right, should be fine.
This is fine. And Ney claiming for warpless run. Nice joke. So, okay, again, back on Voucher Coacher, back to Donkey only warp.
That roll off the ledge with Diddy there is important because it sets up the B's position so you won't hit him with Diddy or when you are shooting through.
Yeah, otherwise you would need to wait for the B cycle in order to... basically, you would wait to throw the barrel. I don't think you're joking, Nay, actually.
Ooh, Slidick almost misses the super jump, but manages to save it and get hit with Donkey.
Nice.
You notice Donkey did go off the top of the screen, so successful
Nice.
there, and he is moving on.
Saved. Okay. Will KBZ go for super jump row or
Find
no?
out.
He attempted to go for
He
it.
did go for the SJR. So we saw in the last one, we saw the super jump a few times. We saw the jump roll that Spike Vegeta got. We've mentioned super jump rolls a few times, which is, of course, combining the two things. So that particular ledge there happens to be a place where we do the normal super jump, but since you are falling off the ledge, you can tap Y and roll and super and jump roll at the same moment. I could tell that KBZ went for it because he didn't start immediately going to the right. He actually started going a little bit to the left with his super jump, because when you get this super jump roll, what you do is you go to the left first, roll through a few enemies and get a bunch of speed, and that causes you to move through the level really, really quickly. It basically, the super jump roll allows you to use rolling speed through the air instead of running speed.
Yeah, and as you saw there on Slidick's side, since he lost Donkey on the Neki fight, he started Voucher Coacher with Diddy, and as you saw there, as soon as he switched back to Donkey, and he was in the timer still, the warp barrel appeared magically, so... And he missed the top 3 town warp.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. That warp is a bit tricky to get to when you're just starting out playing.
Oh,
Ooh, getting hit with Diddy. Donkey cannot make that jump, so he's gonna have to grab Diddy and die.
Actually, you could, since he got hit by the Voucher, actually he could wait for the Voucher to respawn.
That's true. He could. It didn't despawn the Voucher. Anyway,
it's
he gets
trickier
it
because you don't
try.
have the naughty there to roll through, but still you can do it.
Probably faster to do what he did and die here. So let's see if he goes through. For the super jump. Moving pretty well. It looks like, gosh, I wish I knew what his PB was. KBZ choosing not to get the map warp. What is this guy doing?
Showing off.
Yeah, he is just showing off.
Donkey, essentially.
Some levels he's like, I'm gonna go warpless. Other levels he's like, I'm gonna take
Espresso, Craigasm.
Successful super jump from Slidick.
While KBZ going for Espresso strats. He's going for pre-map warp strats.
Pre-map warp strats. There they go.
So maybe we will see Winky. Who knows?
Maybe we will. I mean, it's very unpredictable at this point. Who knows what KBZ is going to do?
Who knows what he's thinking, actually. So, who knows? Okay, now need to reload stream based internet.
So Slidick held on to B a little bit too long there. That's why he's still he's falling. Remember, I said earlier you're falling most of that time, so you have to let go of B early enough in your jump that your fall will land you kind of right in the middle there, and you roll through those guys at the end. It's a really easy visual cue. So I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention or what happened here, but he was probably not paying attention or let go way too late, or just isn't well practiced or something. There he goes. There's
normally Diddy. The worst thing that you could do actually is releasing B a little bit too late, where you actually, instead of being able to roll through the enemies, actually you jump over the last two, so which is not that bad because it's kind of safe, but still
right.
It's not that you... Oh, and KBZ losing base Diddy on the Queen.
Meanwhile, Slidick grabbing Espresso here. So this is something we haven't seen yet, but I did mention it. So you can opt to go into the bonus and grab Espresso, and this is only a couple seconds slower than doing the stage optimally. So this is still a really good strat for newer players to use. The Espresso is a lot easier than the extended rolls through this stage, and it's still going to be very, very fast. I would say that these strats that Slidick is using here are going to be faster than what Lumo did in the last race, but KBZ and Spike obviously used the extended roll route, so that would be faster than this. But it's not by much, so you really probably don't need to go for this until your mid 30s to go for Temple Tempest without Espresso.
Or you can just be bad on mashing B for the bird and not being able to fill the gaps, and then you need to go through a middle point, which is sad if you're not able to mash B.
Yeah, feels bad, man. So Slidick showing us the map warp. So he's making up significant time on KBZ here because he did not do Ogang. And he jumped a little too early. So what happened there is that was actually an exit from a bonus. The bonus exits are positioned in the level, so if you jump into those barrels, they'll just shoot you out. That will happen.
Yeah. So, and actually something that we haven't mentioned actually is that on the Queen, you would see players normally trying to grab the right barrel because sometimes the left one takes a lot of more frames to respawn rather than.
All right, Nay, you got
right
your
one.
wish.
Wow. So we will see here what I consider one of the best songs in the entire game that unfortunately is only in one level.
KBZ is showing us how it's done. I don't even know what's in this level. This looks really fun, actually.
Yeah. That even in 101, it doesn't show a lot of this level.
You get very little of this even in 101.
So enjoy the music. That's the only thing I would say.
He definitely has practiced it though. That's funny. So Spike confirming, yeah, Temple Tempest doing it the extendo route saves 5 seconds at most. So probably something I should learn how to do, but definitely not recommended for beginners.
Yeah. Or you can just go through the rolling without extendos, but I would say it will be 2 or 3 seconds slower than extendo route.
Definitely. In that case, you might as well just grab the bird if you're not going to do extendos.
And KBZ grabbing the bird. He should have gone for the what the heck strats and going for the super jump on that level as times 2 speedrun does, but maybe he didn't practice that to show that off.
Yeah, he's just showing off whatever random junk he can. So honestly, I'm surprised when he doesn't go for something weird.
Yeah. I would definitely say that he will go for the super jump row, and if he fails it, he will grab Winky. I'm for sure on that.
All right, good call. But he is letting Slidick catch up with all this nonsense. So I don't think he's probably watching.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's just that confident. I would be, I suppose, if I was him.
I mean, his PB is from a race, so who knows?
Yeah, so this actually is really good, a good moment. So watch KBZ's Croctopus and then compare it both to Slidick's later and also the ones that you saw from Spike and Lumo earlier. So KBZ, being one of the best players in the world at this game, is going to be doing this stage really, really well. Almost every corner he's going to take perfectly and not bonk at all. He's going to be approaching them at optimal speed to be going left or right or up or down as quickly as he can at the corner. So there's a lot of little stuff that goes into optimizing these stages, but you'll see it done really well on KBZ's side.
KBZ's Croctopus Chase is really, really great. You could spam the OK hand, or if you're sub to Void, you can spam Void OK. And that's the perfect description on how great KBZ does Croctopus Chase.
Absolutely. But Void OK is the perfect description for pretty much everything, so.
Same. Thank you, Spike. Based Spike with a Void OK. Based Nyaki for the poor man choice OK hand.
The poor man's Void OK.
Exactly. That works. So And Slidick, on the other hand, on Snow Barrel Blast. Okay, he went for the start of the extendo, but not feeling too much comfortable. So
Probably a good choice, yeah. Just he has had a few deaths in this stage. A lot of times, what you need to do is just suck it up and get through the level. You know, don't worry about maybe doing the perfect thing because you really don't want to end up on an infinite.
exactly, I mean, and also it's not that it loses too much of a time by rather trying to go for the extendo. So it's really convenient for beginners actually just for go for that route. And actually he nailed the invisible platform.
Yeah, he sure
But-
did. That was really well done. And then gets hit
Yeah.
with Diddy immediately.
Yeah, he just
but,
went for the rope too early.
that's the only one of those we've seen all night because Spike used Donkey
Yeah.
right away. Lumo didn't get the jump off the top,
Yeah,
and
and
KBZ
Lumo
did the
got
level
into the
warpless.
bonus. Lumo
Yeah,
actually
he
got
went
into the
straight to
bonus. One keep. I might be missing what.
Yeah, I know. I'm not familiar with the
Nathan's
meme that
reference.
Nay's referring to.
Yeah.
So let's see.
neither
Here it
did
is.
I.
Do we get Winky and Rope Bridge as he teased before the
No,
race? Nope.
first
First SJR.
we're
like
gonna
you
get
said.
the super jump, bro.
So
So
if he does get this, you'll see what we were talking
a
about.
really cool trick.
Combining the two.
Oh, and he died.
And he dies.
Okay, Winky time.
Winky time.
Go for Winky, KB.
So now he doesn't have two Kongs, so he can't take the hit. He needs to set up the SJR. Hopefully we get one SJR, because I would love to be able to have you guys see what that is if you haven't before.
I mean, it's pretty much guarantee. I got to see like 3 or 4 so far, so we should be getting one. Otherwise, I will be commentator cursed to my own commentator partner, so which will be really sad.
Could you commentator curse the commentator? Void thinking.
Thinking face emoji. Who knows? Maybe. Oh, I see the reference
Interesting.
now. Interesting. Did not know that. And KBZ not going for Winky.
Well, we got
this
some
is this
forward slap
graceful
slides,
displays.
So
It is this
something, I
graceful
guess.
display. Maybe we will see ODA. Who knows? Oh, the fresh Mudkip's thinking.
no
From-
ODA
okay,
either.
no.
He's choosing to forgo
Wow.
that one as well. So again, he needs two Kongs to set up a super jump roll. So being hit with choosing to do the donkey sacrifice route here means he's not going to be trying the super jump roll in 5-1.
I'm not sure what's Slidick happened because he's going on the last section
Oh yeah.
without espresso. And oh, that part with donkey only. Fortunately, that's a DK barrel
Just
there.
Be
But
careful. Just
I
be
hate-
careful.
I
Go.
hated trying to do that on the donkey
Alright.
only rum hack.
Donkey only, no pressing Y.
No, donkey only rum hack.
Yeah.
No DK
press Y.
barrels.
KBZ showing us the proper extendo there through ODA.
The perfect stendo. Showing to people how it is done.
Really nice ODA from KBZ.
And I would say one of the most consistent players. Actually,
Absolutely.
able to sub 35 on every run he does. Christmas thanking KVZ for the non-super jump row ODA.
ODA is definitely one of the best levels in the whole game. Super Jump really did ruin some good ones, and that one's sad. Like Rope Bridge Rumble having a super jump now, at least it's one that's not required necessarily, but it's a really good level too. Like the hard levels are always the good levels usually when they're not hard
And
for stupid reasons.
KVZ going for the
Ooh,
that
no
tricky
bonus.
row and going for no bonus warp there.
Interesting.
Wow,
I've never actually
showing
seen
off.
this part of the level.
Neither did I. Showing off, KVZ. Come on.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff in this game that I didn't know existed.
Based KBZ for showing off. Shoutouts to Joe.
Between that and then some of the super jumps in the last game where I didn't know those existed. So anyway, the reason he faced left over there was to set up this elevator skip that I mentioned briefly in the last race, but now we get to see in all its glory again.
Okay, now I am really not
So over there,
KBZ.
actually, Slidick just gave. If you were watching his stream, sorry for Slidick
Go ahead.
bonked a lot of walls on the way down, so you can really see why that loses so much time and why what KBZ was able to pull off is so impressive. And that's not a slight against Slidick. That's very hard to do this stage really well and to take all those corners at optimal speed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hard level.
Yeah, and
for
being
sure.
a long one actually is not the one actually that you practice the most, because even though it's not the most difficult, considering that you don't die a lot there, you don't practice
Exactly.
that often. So that's why you see KBZ that has put a ton of work on Octopus Chase, able to do it perfectly, while different players actually tend to bunk on the walls a lot.
Yep. So KBZ with a pretty much perfect poison pond. I didn't see quite the beginning, but the end was a thing of beauty for sure. So Spike and KBZ both with really strong poison ponds tonight.
Okay, so KBZ will go for air glitch row. I thought that he would not go for it, but fortunately I didn't say anything. And he got the jump roll.
Yeah,
What a guy.
It's a jump roll. There it is. Same one Spike got. So we are rolling through the air. Again, if anyone's joined us since the last race, the way this works is that when you are able to roll and are bouncing off of an enemy at the same time, if you press Y at that one frame where that's possible, this happens. This level is really weird in that you set it up by doing something called this roll through the air glitch. So even though you're not on the ground, you're technically able to roll because you got hit with Donkey while you walked off the ledge into a minecart. Pretty weird, I know, but that lets you roll and bounce at the same time and get that jump roll.
Basically, if you get hit, as Attila said, you need to run through the minecart instead of jumping or anything. So when Donkey gets hit, he actually goes off the hit animation as if he was on the ground, basically making the glitch possible. Therefore, you see that Didif just forgot how gravity works, being able him to basically roll through the air infinitely until a new platform appears. And on the jump rope, you saw that KBZ jumped out of it. That's because actually on the jump rope state, you're invincible to anything except the bees. And how convenient there was a bee right on our path. So that's why he had to jump out of it.
Exactly. So Slidick, something I've noticed a couple. Ooh, KBZ with the death and blackout. First major mistake from him that wasn't choosing not to do warps. Not that that's a mistake, but anyways, we get to watch him do blackout again because he did skip the mid barrel as all top runners do. But something that I've noticed a couple times on Slidick's stream is that he'll start some rolls and a lot of his rolls will die right before enemies. And that's something that just goes to experience, is you have to be able to know exactly how long your roll is going to be able to start it at the earliest possible point where you're still going to make contact. Because if you start it too early, you're going to end up stopping and then you'll get hit like that. So it's all those really little things to get the most possible speed out of every single roll that really separate the best from the not as best.
And as you said, it goes with experience and actually practice a lot to make sure, as you said, when to roll to make sure it takes the most advantage of.
So that part where Slidick just died is kind of tricky to learn. It's for the same reason I was just saying. When you're not super confident in your rolls and you don't know exactly where you're going to start and finish them, getting through the Kremlings in this part he's coming up on again can be a little bit tricky. See there, he jumped too far at base and almost ran right into the Kremling again, but he was able to save it, which is good awareness. There's that Mankey Kong that will eat your face if you're not careful.
Amazed Mankey that shoots barrel to you like a scrub he is.
So Slidick is not afraid of these oil cans. He is jumping right on the side of them. As I mentioned in the last race, only the middle of them can actually hurt you. But he knows that, and he's taking advantage of it, even though he's not rolling as
Wow.
perfectly as he could.
Ah,
Oh, with the tire. Oh,
Yeah,
just
he
misses that one. Yeah.
Went way too far.
Yep. The end of this stage is really tough. So that's a very, very common place to die. Meanwhile, KBZ, are we going to see Kremtut tonight?
Not sure, but he's making sure Donkey will put some effort and some training, making sure he's running a little bit before anything.
Oh yeah, it looks like a treadmill. He better get running. He's too slow.
Like it's funny as, oh,
Trying to get a little bit too fancy there, KBZ.
Yeah.
I see you down there in chat. Well played, sir.
lol.
Well done.
Actually, it's
That's what
really
you
funny
get, KBZ.
because
I do not feel sad for you at all about that one.
neither do I. I was about to say that it's funny actually how when Donkey is the lead, is when you control Donkey, he feels so sorry, he doesn't feel, he is so slow, but when he follows Didi or any animal buddy, he becomes Usain Bolt running against you. Like,
Oh yeah, he's super fast. No
But
Kremtut. So I don't know if you guys saw Slidick's screen. He missed the warp in 5-2, landed on the platform, was able to roll back and save it. No tut roll from KBZ, but I hope you guys saw what Slidick did. That was pretty impressive saving. No consolation prize. He's just
and
gonna
now
hang out
waiting
beside her. Million years.
waiting for the platform. Exactly. What a guy. What a guy. And now Slidick going on this bonus section after with Donkey only, which is really hard because the next DK barrel is really far away, and this manipulation of the elevator is really hard with Donkey. But
Yeah.
the DK barrel there, and opting for finishing with Donkey.
Yeah, this
really
tells me that
interesting.
he probably hasn't put in the work on the. Well, he is looking left with Donkey. I don't know that that's a good choice. Okay, he's not set up for it anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, but actually, I believe you can do the elevator skip with Donkey.
Can
but
you really? Interesting.
I believe so.
I wouldn't have expected that.
I think I got it once while practicing, but I mean once. So it's really hard.
I believe it.
Not
Yeah.
not that recommendable.
All right, let's see how Slidick handles Poison Pond. Meanwhile, if you also watch KBZ's screen, you're gonna see the preferred way to do mincers with Rambi. So these jumps with Rambi are actually quite difficult. Getting through this section with the naughties was probably one of the things that took me the longest to learn in this game. It just Rambi's control is so awkward and uncomfortable that going through it.
Yeah.
So as Claude puts it, Rambi actually handles like a rhinoceros in this game.
Yeah.
But he's going to give him the
Well,
Yoshi treatment here in a moment.
Yeah, because actually, dude being him a rhino, his developers actually made an intentional lag on all inputs on Rambi. That's why he feels so heavy as he actually is.
Yep.
Due to the fact on that intended lag.
They decided to sacrifice realism for fun when they made the second game.
Yeah. Rambi Thump.
Rambi Thump, indeed. So Slidick actually had a really good Poison Pond. Keeping Eduardo all the way to the stage is pretty good. No SJR from KBZ, sadly. That was our last opportunity. So, sadly
the super
tonight,
jump.
you'll just have to take my word for it.
Oh, and he went for the 4-second save jump rope, but he missed that.
All right, Slidick rolling through the air. Let's see if we can get another jump roll here from him.
Nah.
Nope.
For going and glitching through the rope.
Yep. Never roll through ropes if you can avoid it.
Yeah. Actually, it's not rolling through the ropes. Actually, not jumping after rolling through the ropes, which causes the glitch. Still, some van setup.
Uh-oh.
Free.
We're in the
free
minecart.
Samba.
See if he can make it through.
Yeah, I mean, it was on the last section of it, so
All
not
right.
huge of a time loss. Now, KBZ entering Lippy-Lights. And where's my bottle of water? Oh, no water for me. So,
That was the
Okay,
whole
I
reason
can-
you wanted a co-commentator, was to be able
Yeah.
to drink water.
and I
Where's
forgot to
Lumo when
fill
you-
my water.
This is your chance. This is your chance for the water percent versus
Oh,
Lumo.
but I need to set
Get
up.
it on video.
I need to set up my screen, my stream, and my 3DS with the VC version. I'm a VC
Excellent.
cheater on 3DS, so
To turn on the code to have a proper water RTA run.
exactly. But and Slidick on the death on
Yeah.
Bob, our buddy Bob. So,
Blackout's definitely a hard stage. I mean, as you saw, even KBZ had the death there, so even at the top levels of play, this stage is still going to mess you up. The biggest thing that you want to do here is move as consistently as you can throughout the level. That way the lights are always going to be on when you expect them to be. It is a fixed pattern, this fixed number of frames between every time they flicker on and off. So as long as you move the same way, they're always going to be on at the same time you expect them to be. And you sometimes get used to those visual cues.
no spike lights.
Did KBZ have a death too? I wasn't watching. Was it simultaneous?
No, lights don't work, and actually, no, actually, I believe it's their stream setup. Sometimes it actually seems
death from
more
KBZ.
brightness. Sometimes it would depend on stream setup, and of course, what they are using, if console or emulator, whether if
Oh, no jump roll. He's gonna die on purpose. He wants to get the jump roll.
he can get the killer HUD set up for the donkey jump row. Come on. Killer HUDs based donkey jump row.
TM.
Exactly. Trademark. So yeah, so okay. Setup fine. Nope.
No jump
Too
roll.
early.
Does he go for the
No
backup?
jump roll.
Nope.
No.
Zera always wants to see people go for the backup, but sadly not happening. Choosing to forego the mid barrel.
Yeah, so maybe he will go for another time. But basically
nice
now
though. The same one Spike showed us earlier.
and
Oh, what is
wow,
this?
risky. And of course, since he went over, he not showing off first of all the golden barrel, and now there's no DK barrel, but still.
Yep. Going for that. So that jump that he went for where he got. Oh, with the bonus to save it. That's great. So yeah,
And
going
now
for
we're
that
gonna-
really, really risky jump there that he lost Diddy on.
And
then
he
ends up
got
in the bonus.
Eduardo.
KBZ, one final treat for the fans. Intentional or not, that was fantastic.
Wow. And slap slide to finish Barrows. Wow.
Meanwhile, let's look over at Slidick. So not too much else going on KBZ's screen. Just gonna finish out the bosses. So we are coming up on Bird Tut. Slidick is going. Is not going for
No,
it.
he
Kills the
didn't.
bird. Does all
It-
the
it looked
first half of the
like-
setup look right though. So that was just like
Yeah.
a slap in our face. Take this, people expecting Bird Tut.
Like, oh, you were expecting me to do a jump roll. Not tonight.
Not today.
It's sad. And now KBZ entering Gangplank and showing off slap slide. Wow.
Yeah. The new
Really love this
category,
show.
KBZ RTA. We need not to say any more. You have to do warpless in 1-2 and 4-2, and skip some and 5-3 What else did he do? Go into that bonus.
Warpless Ogang, you said, right?
Warpless Ogang, that's right.
Warpless Elevator Antics. Then
We can do some warps. Just 4-2, but not all warps.
Warpless Ropey Rampage.
Yes.
Basically, he created his own category alongside boy Joe the Rapper, aka Aska Fanboy, aka Joe. So we will create a fresh new category on the leaderboard just for KBZ.
Please. Then somebody else take the time. So Slidick going for the super jump here. So a good learning strat just to kind of move on, get through the whole game.
38. KBZ asking how much was Neo's time. Let me just.
He just wants to beat Neo's time.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted.
But I believe he would not beat Neo actually. So let me just check. Neo 53. No, actually it's 38-13. Let me just correct that. A fresh PB for a week and 2 days ago for Neo.
Dang, a lot of people catching up to me. I need to start playing this again.
Oh, and I'm not sure if I'm able to see IRC because since I got a disconnection, IRC does not let me join in back again. And he did not sub Neo and forgot to stop timer, or maybe just
he was typing done first. So the 38-22 it looked like from KBZ.
Nice.
He was already in the next round anyway, so we'll just watch Slidick here the rest of the way through. Also, it looks like he's going for another super jump to get over the stage.
Yeah, super jump. Let's see if he does not make the Luma mistake that he should be releasing B. Let me just see where. He should be releasing B right now, and then he should be falling just on after the last snake section. So KBZ finishing the game minute 38-23. Actually, if anyone watching if anyone is just tuning in and see this KBZ time, he could say it's a horrible time, and I would agree. But however, by how KBZ played this game, it's actually a good time. So
yeah, he had some deaths towards the end, but other than that, he did a lot of really impressive stuff in that run. And still, I mean, 38-23 is the time I'd be pretty happy to get myself. So yeah, I think well
so
played.
Why?
Showing off. Yeah, I'll be really curious to talk to Slidick afterwards because I'm not familiar with him or what he's done before. So just to see how this will compare to what he's done in the past.
33 files. And what will KBZ show off? Because who knows? Let me just. Oh, KBZ declining.
Rip my
Declining
dreams.
interview.
Rip my dreams.
Oh, feeling sick. Poor KBZ. He needs to prepare for all marathon races he will have on this upcoming weeks. Why he's standing with the funky copter on 1-1?
Maybe just letting us enjoy the music. I don't know.
Hiya! Okay.
He's got something else in store for us, apparently.
Yeah. Winky!
Of
He's
course,
going
that's what it
for
is.
Winky bonus.
All right, let's see if Slidick is able to get this last jump roll. I
mean, considering he didn't even attempt it tank a trouble one, I would go against him going for this one.
Well,
and
now it's not even
got hit.
possible anyway.
And Winky percent.
Winky makes his long-awaited appearance.
And people asking for 999 Winky. Winky coins. Best currency in the game, Winky. So he apparently is on the way to do, but still. Slidick going on. Okay, the extendo section. Let's see if he goes for it. Yes.
Nice roll from Slidick.
No, Golden. This is not the DKC that was scheduled for 2 a.m. On 2 a.m. we're gonna have another race that we're gonna have our boy Nathan again.
Golden barrel from Slidick.
Yoo-hoo! Let's go.
Whoa.
Nice.
Well played. Slidick with the final nail in KBZ's coffin. I don't care what fun stuff KBZ did. Slidick with golden barrel wins
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah. Okay, so as we were saying, we're gonna have Million against Nathan at 2 a.m. So
Milby Nathan, really? That's a
Yeah.
fun race.
yeah, it will be even funnier if Mill plays again the donkey only rum hack as he did against Cadence. So
Did he really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
did.
Mill, this guy. He of the newly minted 249 club
Yeah.
in SMRPG.
And for those, since Slidick finishing off Neki and entering K-Roll fight, that rum hack is even harder because stop and go, the stop does not work, and blackout basement is more dark than normal. So
Donkey only, plus all this other stuff.
Cadence with that was the dumbest race I ever seen on this channel, but it was great.
Absolutely. it was.
Same. Unfortunately, actually, I have to watch the VOD. I haven't got the time to watch it.
There's the jump roll.
You
Now, if he'd have done that with Donkey and ended up in the bonus still, then that would have been really what we would have wanted. But
and skipping the beat. Nice. Skipping the bees with ease. But no golden barrel on that one. And oh, he will stay there, and Donkey and Diddy will every frame. Will be going down a little bit frames. So
yep.
he
So
could die. Actually.
he will eventually. So I've definitely left this up on my stream before. It's just something fun to do when you're waiting. So you do drop sub-pixels over time with these, which is why if we would have talked about more if we had seen Bird Tut. And he's in the bonus after all.
Will he go for Eduardo
Bird
percent?
Tut, Bird Tut. Eduardo percent, please no. He's thinking about it, I think. Right, Slidick through the fake credits. Coming up on time for him. We'll see if he joins us afterwards.
I hope so. Oh, I thought that for a second he wouldn't be jumping as mandatory trick, but he did jump, so this is fine. And
All right, 45-57 from Slidick.
Yeah. So GG.
See if he joins us and has anything to say.
Yeah, let's see if he joins. So
GG Slidick.
GG, indeed. Really interesting stuff there. May I say? So, while we wait for Slidick to actually answer if he will join in or not, I would like to go through the next matches that we have scheduled. So, in about 2 hours, less than 2 hours, as we said before, we're gonna have Million against Nathan. That will be on this very speed gaming. Tomorrow, you're gonna see a guy that prefers to super jump all levels against a guy that actually plays the game. That's going to be at 7 Eastern. And then, sorry, that would be me against Guts. So,
I thought there was a little shade thrown at yourself.
yeah, it's just we take fun on this speedrun Spaniel thing. We just take fun of everything. So, still, it will be a really fun part to see at the post interview of that if we manage to finish in time. Then, 11 Eastern, we're gonna have Neo 53. Our boy Neo against FS 1. That would be 11 p.m. And then Neo will be completing his tourney matches at Friday, 11:30 in the morning. That would be in Speed Gaming 2. And then, as we stated a little bit earlier, the last match that we have scheduled so far, our own Antilles 58, we have here against Parisian player. That will be Sunday 4 p.m. Eastern. And that we have not yet decided the channel. For what I'm seeing on the Speed Gaming schedule, it looks like it will be on Speed Gaming 2, but that can change any moment. That's why we have Speed Gaming Twitter and the website to check that out.
KBZ showing us a proper speed game over here.
Let me check. Oh, I thought it was going to be Toy Story.
Not quite. Oh, drops the jumps early though, for shame. Anyways, I don't know that Slidick's going to be joining us tonight. Haven't heard anything, so I suppose with that, we'll be dropping off for the night. Thank you guys very, very much for joining us this evening with a lot of fun races. Not super competitive races, but still really interesting to watch and see the different things that these guys go for.
We saw much novelty stuff on
Absolutely, we
both
did.
runs.
Absolutely, a lot of things that I didn't know existed. So anyways, thank you all. Thank you, Kalars. Definitely enjoyed it.
Me
hope
too.
you all enjoyed
A
the rest of
pleasure.
the tournament. Absolutely.
A pleasure
So-
being with you tonight, Antilles. Really pleasure.
For sure. Everybody,
so-
hope to see you next time. Take care.
And please tune in Speed Gaming 2. We are currently having the Pokemon Red race, so please go there if you want to enjoy more speed gaming.